What's up, guys? Julian here, and I bet I look different, don't I? Also, over on this side, sorry. Well, look, I got my Game Grid shirt. It's got the Game Grid on it. And yes, I finally have a shirt. It's official. No, it's been official for a while, but I just haven't. I just never got the shirt. I don't know. The back. Anyway, blah blah blah. Long story, but I got it, and I feel so cool. I went to a couple GPTs yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Just sport the Game Grid shirt. No big deal. It was pretty sweet. Anyway, okay. So today is Sunday, and I'm super excited because the pre-release for Return to Ravnica is in 5 days. 5 days. That's 10. This one and the 5 days. 5 days, and we're there, and we're in, and I'm really excited. It's been really exciting. Like, standard is getting a little bit stiff. It's fine. I mean, I still like playing it, right? But like, it's just I'm just ready for new. I'm just ready for new standard. I feel like I'm almost already tired of that standard after all the testing I've been doing. Anyway, before I go into all of that, I want to show you guys. I finally got the notebook printed, and there it is, and it is pretty sweet. It is. So it has this frosted cover on it. I guess you can't print on these. So, like, it has a back page, but whatever. So, it's got, like, this frosted cover. It's got a black back. It's got nice binding. And look, a pen fits right there, which is sweet. And it has, like, the magic pages like I made before. But I edited this so it doesn't say SLCMTG anymore. It's got the G, Fubsy Gamer, FG. And then it's got just my YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. Anyway, I think it's awesome. It's, let's see, 75 pages. Cut in half, so 150. So it's 75 full 8.5 by 11s, and then they're cut in half, so that's 150, and then they're front back. So I love it. I think it's awesome. The only downside, I didn't know this going into it. So the SLCMTG one was like 20 bucks, right? And that just has like a crappy like a card, like just a paper on the front for the cover. It doesn't have any nice binding, nothing like that, right? So this one, ordered it, paid it, went there to pick it up, and it was $40. 2 20s, $40. A little bit more than I thought it was going to be. I think it's still worth it because I think it's great quality. But you know, $40 is money. That's as much as almost 2 pre-releases, right? So anyway, if you guys want one, I will definitely ship you one. Like if you message me, you email me or something, and you're like, dude, Fubsy, I totally want one of those notebooks. You can like PayPal me, probably like $45 with shipping, and then I will just order it, print it up, and ship it to you. And that's totally fine. I will do that for you. And in the meantime, I'm going to be looking, if any of you know of a distributor or a place, not a distributor where, like, I don't want to, so here's the issue I'm running into, right? I don't want to order, like, 1,000 of these. I just don't have the money, right? Even if they were 20 bucks a piece instead, I just don't have, or 1,000 or 500, I just don't have that kind of cash right now. And so I can't get, like, a really good deal. But if somebody knows of a place, like, I mean, kind of like I don't know, so that you can print like on demand, that you can like order it and then they just print it and ship it, kind of a thing. And you think you can get this for cheaper? Tell me, message me, let me know, and I will do it. I mean, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I'm not here to make any money, right? Like if you PayPal me to ship you one of these, it's literally just going to be the cost of the book plus the cost of shipping. I mean, and that's it. Like I don't expect any more. I just think it'd be cool to get the name out there. But if you're interested, let me know. Tell me and PayPal me the money, and I will get you the book. And the playmat I ordered, and it's on its way. Those are $25, not as much, but you know, $25 is fair for a playmat. And I think $40 is not the worst for this kind of a note. It's really good quality. You guys can see that, right? Like, I'm not trying to tell you that you're paying $40 for like a piece of garbage, right? It's really good quality, and it'll last you 300 games, 300 matches. It should last, which is a long time. Anyway, so there's that. Oh, the issue, let's see, blah, 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 I got that. Playmat, $25, totally normal price for a playmat. As soon as it comes in, I'll show it to you guys, and then I'll tell you how to order that one too. And then I'm also trying to set up this online store, kind of, using cafepress.com. You should check it out. And I have, like, my logo and stuff up there now, but, like, I'm just refreshing it as we speak to check again, because it said it can take 72 hours. Yeah, so it's still not ready. But what happens is, like, there's a page you'll be able to go to, and, like, you'll be able to get like t-shirts and hoodies and mugs and stickers and all sorts of stuff with like my logo on it and my name on it. It's pretty cool. And again, that's a little bit more expensive. Like the t-shirts are like 20 bucks. And some of that money goes to me because of how the website works. I kind of wish it didn't. I don't really care. Anyway, I'm just telling you guys this in advance, right? So you can check out cafepress.com. The prices for like anything on there, like the prices, they're just the default prices basically. And that's kind of how the store is going to be for a while. Like if you want, I'm going to get like a shirt and like a hoodie and like a bunch of stuff because I'm just nerdy like that. And because like someone, yeah, but like not everyone has to get one. But if you want one, order it from there when it's up. I'll post the link and everything when it's up. And then once, I think what happens is any revenue I make, any money I make from Cafe Press, or like, you know, any, like if like an extra $1.50 happens because of this, or like if you guys want to donate, I don't know, something like that. Once I get to a certain number, I'll have more plans in the future about this. But I'm going to open up my own online store and actually order things in bulk. That way they can be a lot cheaper for you guys. But for now, that's kind of how it's going to have to be. If you know of a better way, I'm totally open to opinions. Totally open to that kind of stuff. I'd love to know what you guys think. If you guys want Game Grid shirts, you don't get the cool like team Game Grid part because that team, right? But you can totally get a Game Grid polo. They're polos. I don't know if you can tell. They're nice. They're really good quality. Anyway, that's about it for the marketing stuff, I think. Playmat, notebook, T-shirts. Yeah, okay, so let's move on. Let's talk about the important stuff. Let's talk about this pre-release. So I'm not going to go into strategy so much for this pre-release, right? And the reason is because it's a pre-release. So that's already in the bag, right? I mean, you're just going for fun, to play with the new cards, to have a great time. You're going at midnight usually. It's just to have a blast, right? You're not supposed to walk into this like it's a pro tour. And at the same time, I can't give a ton of strategy because it totally depends on the guild you pick. And so first of all, before we do that, let's talk about the format for this pre-release, okay? So the pre-releases, midnight, like the Friday night at midnight are like all the pre-releases. And then also the whole weekend is pre-release weekend. So like some stores are doing like a 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, like a Two-Headed Giant, and like another pre-release at 3, and then like another one on Sunday at like 2, and they're just all weekend long. So here's how this works, okay? So either when you sign up, or it depends on how your store decides to do this, but either when you sign up or when you show up or just randomly, everybody gets a guild, right? One of the 5, like Azorius or Izzet or Golgari, Selesnya. You're all going to get a guild. You pick a guild, okay? So, for example, I picked, for my first pre-release night, I picked Izzet. Why? I don't know. I like those colors. But it's not like I didn't like strategically going and decide. I'd be like, Izzet, whatever. Because it seems like fun. I'm going to 3, by the way, Game Grid. And I picked like Izzet, and then I picked Rakdos, and then I picked Golgari. Because I just wanted to play different cards, right? So anyway, so here's how this works. So you're going to get 5 return to... Okay, on all this information, by the way, I'm interrupting myself. I'm so excited to talk about it all. Is on this link that I will try to remember. I'm going to write this down. Put link in notes. Okay. I hope I don't forget. Every pre-release, so this link tells you all about the pre-releases, but I'm going to go over it anyway, okay? So you get, at a normal pre-release, it's just you, not a Two-Headed Giant. You're going to get 5 Return to Ravnica packs, right? 5 of them. Not 6 like you normally do. You get 5. Then you're going to get 1 extra pack, and this pack is a special pack designed for your guild. So you get a special pack just for your guild. And that has like a rare and a couple uncommons and commons, but they're based towards the guild you chose. And you don't know exactly what's in them. There are lists, I'll try and find, of like everything that could be in the pack, but it's kind of like the deck builder's toolkit, where there's like maybe so for like your Azorius guild pack, right? There's like, okay, it could be one of these 10 rares or something. And they pick one, and 1 goes in the pack, right? Randomly or whatever. And then like out of these 20 uncommons, 2 go in the pack. And out of these 50 uncommons, 10 go in the pack. That's my phone. Something like that, right? So it's just for your guild, and every guild gets a different pack, like for your guild. Then you also get a promo card based on the guild that you've chosen. And this is the cool part. You can play with the promo card in your sealed deck. That's the first time that I know of that's ever been true. Normally, like you go to a pre-release, they give out a promo card, like a Phyrexian Metamorph, or whatever, a promo card, and you can't use that in your deck. But this is the first time where you can. So if you pick Azorius and you get the 6/4 that detains 2 things in its attacks, you get that with your promo card, you can play it in your deck, and you probably should. And so you get your promo card, you get your guild booster pack, you get your 5 normal booster packs. Then you also get an achievement card, which is kind of like the diff for Abyss and Restored in M13, right? You go through and like check off the achievements as you complete them. You get a spin down. You get a cool letter like from your guild master. So if you choose Izzet, then there's like this cool like letter that comes with it. It's like, welcome, thank you for choosing the Izzet guild, and Izzet, we're all about this and that and the other. It's pretty cool. And then you get a guild sticker, right? Just a sticker that you can put on your deck box or something. And then Yeah, okay. That's basically it for the pre-release. That's like how that works. So you're gonna show up, you're gonna sit down, and then they're gonna pass all those out, and you're gonna build your decks. So I'll talk about deck building in a second. So I want to talk about some of your behavior, that should go on, the behavior you should have while you're at these pre-releases, especially the midnight ones when there's 100 people in your store and it's filled to capacity, right? You guys want a side note story? So there's a new Wendy's that just opened up. Well, they have a Wendy's by my house, and then they tore it all down and then built it back up, and it's brand new. It's been open for like a week. So I'm like, dude, I'm totally going there. I never really go. I mean, I don't go to Wendy's that often because whatever. But like, I'm totally going. It's brand new Wendy's. I'm totally going. It's going to be really good. Like, for some reason, I think it's going to be better food than it normally is. So I totally went to that Wendy's today. And I'm like, oh, man, give me chicken nuggets. Give me some french fries. And I ate them, and I'm like, it's just like normal Wendy's. Like, it's the same. Anyway, I'm really dumb, but Wendy's. Okay, so behavior. The store is going to be packed. It's going to be nuts. So no matter what, you should go there. First of all, you should pay way before. Don't show up at 12:01 and like, oh man, please let me in, please let me in. You need to pay like a week before if you can. I'm already paid for it. I paid for mine last week. I paid for all 3 of mine. Because Game Grid is having a little like deal. If you go to all of them, you get $5 off each one. It's pretty cool. So I already paid for all mine. So you just show up. And then you should be on your best behavior with the person running the event. It's gonna be so crazy. And like things are gonna change last minute. Maybe you're sitting maybe like there's 8 of you sitting at this table, and then like the guild organizers the tournament organizers like, sorry guys, we gotta move this table. Everyone get up or something. You just can't be frustrated. Don't be like, oh my god. And like if they're running a little bit late, don't start like chanting, we want packs. Don't do that kind of stuff. You just have to be patient with these guys. And if you're on your best behavior, and when they ask you to be quiet, because they're going to say, everyone be quiet, let's talk for a second before this actually starts, just shut up. Just shut up. And just tell other people to shut up. And like, don't be like, shut up, you. Be like, hey, we won't talk. And just be on your best behavior. Really help out. And you don't have to necessarily, like, go to the store owner and be like, hey, bud, I'm going to help you out tonight. Because he's going to be so busy and so frazzled, it won't even matter. Right? Even if you're, like, really good friends with him, they're just going to be too crazy. That happens sometimes. On Friday, I went to Game Grid, and it was nuts on Friday. It was so busy. And Joe, who's one of the owners, and he and I are, like, really close, right? I saw him, and I was going to go chat for a second, and I saw how busy he was and just how, like, he was kind of having a bad day. They ran out of chairs because some of them broke, and it was just really crazy ordeal. And so I just went in the back and just played some EDH. Like, I just went and chilled with some buddies. Like, you don't need to get the attention of the store owner, even if they're like your best friend. You need to let them run their event. But when they need help, when they need people to be quiet, when they need people to move, or like scoot tables and stuff, just do it. Just comply. Don't fight them, right? It really helps a lot. I know I'm putting a lot of time into this part because I've just seen it go the other way. I've just seen people just be douchebags to these store owners when the store owners are just trying their hardest to just run a good event. So don't do that. Okay. Yeah, that's about it for behavior. Okay, let's talk about things to bring. You should bring a pen and paper. Hopefully, your Fubsy Gamer notebook. Pen and paper is another tangent I'm going to go on. You should always take your life down on pen and paper. Don't use dice, because like if you bump the dice, then you're like, oh great, where was I at? Or like, I mean, it's just too much. And also that way, like if someone's like, if you're like, oh, you're at 14, I'll tell you this little thing. If you're at like a GP or a PTQ, and there's a dispute in life totals, like if the guy at the dice is like, no, I'm at 16, and I've got my pen and paper, or like, no, 6. Let's say he's at 6. He thinks he's at 6, and my pen and paper says he's at 4. The judge, I don't know, 99% of the time, 95%, like almost all the time, is going to go with the guy who has the pen and paper. Because I've been keeping track of every change of life totals, right? I mean, every time I'm like, okay, you took 4, and then you took 2, and then you took 1, then you took 6, and we can go back through it. If your dice just says 6, and you're like, nope, it's 6, it's supposed to be 6. The judge is going to be like, yeah, but this guy's been keeping track of the whole history. I mean, like, anyway, bring pen and paper. It's just easier. But you don't have to if you don't want to, but it's just a lot easier. So pen and paper. Next thing, sleeves and land. So I talked about this before. I want to show you guys this again in case you missed it. In video number 2, I talked about this. I bring in my box, my WoW box, right, which is right here. Hello. I added an addition to the WoW box. I have these clear plastic dividers I use for sending prizes, and I separate my decks and stuff. It's pretty sweet. Okay, so that's my EDH general. Yeah, so my WoW box, I have this stack of stuff. I have empty sleeves. Now, I'm lucky because I use the same sleeves for all my decks. So I have some I have 30 blank sleeves here. And that's just in case I tear a sleeve in a deck, which I've never done with Dragon Shields, but just in case. But really, this is for drafting and for sealed. So I have these empty sleeves, and then I have 15 of each land sleeved up and ready to go. This is awesome for drafting and for sealed, especially at a pre-release. Okay, so if you don't normally do this at draft, that's fine, because, like, whatever, you just don't normally do it at drafts. You just go get the land out of the land box, right? But this pre-release is going to be nuts. It's going to be berserk, and everybody about finishes their decks. They start finishing decks at about the same time, and they all start running for the land box, and it just gets insane. If you just bring this with you, this will save you so much stress and so much haggle. And then, like, store owners are always like, oh, I need the land back, you can't get your prizes and blah, blah, blah. But you just have your own land, and it's so much easier. It's so much easier than having to worry about getting the other land and giving it back and forgetting and blah, blah, blah. Just bring your own, right? It makes life way easier. I totally recommend doing that. Okay, next thing, snacks and food and water. So, especially the midnight ones, probably not a lot of food open around the place. And also, if you plan on going and, like, I'll just get lunch halfway through, like at the McDonald's, it's open 24 hours. Like, you might get a slow deck and you might go to time, like 2 or 3 times in a row, and you're going to be hungry. You should definitely pack some, like, granola bars and some stuff like that. Vinny, my buddy Vinny, we went to Denver. He recommended that I pick up a big bag of cashews. He said they're really good for your mind. Whatever, Vinny. No, but no, seriously though. Like, he was like, yeah, I get them. They're really good for your memory, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I got the cashews, and they were great to munch on in between rounds. Like, I finish a round, and then I go sit, and I couldn't find them or whatever. And I sit there, and I just munching on cashews, checking Twitter on my phone. And then, it'd be time for the next round. I'd roll it up, put it back in the bag, go to the next round, play, get back, munch on cashews. Because, like, if you're munching on stuff, this is more health stuff, and I'm not a health person, obviously. But, I guess if you're, like, constantly kind of munching a little bit, it helps with your appetite. Like, if you just eat breakfast and then don't eat for, 4 hours or 6 hours, it can really affect you, I guess. I mean, that affects me. I get really cranky if I don't eat. But, like, if you're, like, munching on cashews or granola bars or stuff like that, it just helps curb your appetite, obviously. I mean, you're eating, right? So do that. Bring a water bottle or two. Duh. It sounds like I'm saying duh, like, it's obvious by now. But really, like, just wait till the first time. If you've never done this, one day you're going to go to a PTQ, or you're going to go to States, or you're going to go to a GPT, or a Grand Prix or something, and you're not going to bring anything with you. That sucks. Usually you wait for one of your buddies to, like, drop, and then you tell him to go get you food. I mean, it's, like, the worst. When I was at Star City Open on the first day, we didn't do that. I didn't bring any food, really, just water. And, like, the pizzas at the place, the event, were, like, this big, and they're really gross, and they're, like, $10 each, and it was like, no way. And so, like, we would switch off the car. Like, someone got off early, they'd come find me and be like, hey, can I borrow your car? Not someone, the people in my car that I drove there with, right? And so they'd go get food and come back, and then I'd go get food. It was just the worst. So just bring food, guys. Next thing, that's it. That's what you should bring, that kind of stuff. You could bring your trades if you want to make trades. You should bring a binder. You should, here's the thing I didn't write down. I'm glad I remembered this. You should bring a list with you of cards that you definitely want to have and cards you definitely are willing to trade. Because you're not going to think about it in the moment. You're going to be like, oh, crap, I don't know if I need these cards. I can't remember if I wanted them. Now, I'm not saying you should have a deck built, right, that you're like, oh, I need 3 of these and 2 of those and 1 of those and for this deck I'm building. But you should just know. You should have an idea. Like, oh, Abrupt Decay. Probably that card's really good. I probably should try and get Abrupt Decays. Or Rakdos Revival. I think that card is going to be really good. I don't know. And maybe you know some cards that are going to trade away. So, like, maybe Vraska. Vraska might be a good example. She's $40 right now, I think, maybe $45 on Star City, and she's not going to stay there, right? And people who say she's, just shut up. No. They never stay where they're going to be. They never do that. Never, except Jace, one Planeswalker. Like, remember Liliana pre-ordered for like $60, and now she's like 20. In her heyday, she was like 30, right? Every Planeswalker drops. Tamiya was 40, now she's 25, right? I mean, they just always drop. So things like Vraska, you should probably, if you pull them, you should probably try to trade them away unless you need them. But like that night, 4 cards that will retain their value, like Dreadbores. Like, if I pulled a Vraska and someone offered me a playset of Dreadbores for the Vraska, done, switch. Like, I would just do that. Because Vraska won't stay at 40, but Dreadbore will probably be a $10 card. Like, anyway, so just have an idea. But the bigger idea is to have a list. And know, okay, like, these are things, and you can put, like, on the inside of your notebook. These are things that if I get, I'm going to trade away. Right? Vraska, maybe Jace. Just cards that are really expensive. Like the Rakdos Guild Leader guy, right? And then on the other side, I put cards I'm looking to acquire. And I put like Rakdos Return on mine. And I put Dreadbore. And I put Abrupt Decay. Loltuf Troll. Well, he's right in the middle. There's some cards that are probably just about where they should be, give or take. Lol Troll is one of them. Anyway, make a list like that, right? Have a plan going in there. Just have a plan. And that way you don't get caught off guard. That way if someone offers you a deal and you're not sure if you want to take it and you don't know what's going on, you should know. You should have a good idea of some of the cards you're looking for, some that you don't need. Also remember, these places, people will trade uncommons for rares at like a good rate. So for example, if you really need a playset of Izzet Charms, right? I bet you could trade a pretty cruddy rare for a playset of Izzet Charms from someone if you needed them. Like a $2 rare, a $3 rare, you could do that. People will do that there. 2 weeks from then, probably not, right? Anyway, so those are just ideas. I'm not a financial guru at all. I despise trading. I don't ever trade. But I'm going to try and get into it more with Return to Ravnica. So there's that. So bring a list, an idea of the cards you want to acquire and the cards that you want to get rid of. I think that's it for what you should bring. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is a touchy subject. But if I start to offend you, you keep listening, goddammit. You keep listening. This is important. And it's showering. Now, I know that sounds silly, and I know it sounds like I'm building this big intro just to say showering, dun dun dun, and like have it be funny, but I'm being serious about this. I'm going to tell you guys a story. When I was on my LDS mission, which you should watch my old daily about how I converted to atheism anyway, I was on an LDS mission where you're stuck with the same person like 24 hours a day, and then every couple months you switch, right? And I had one mission companion who was very stinky. Very, very, very bad BO. He didn't really shower very often, and he'd wear the same underwear a couple days in a row. It was very, very gross. And I'll tell you, it was, I don't know about just as, because I'm not in his position. It was very awkward for me as well as for him. Like, maybe he didn't know. He knows. You have to know, right? So, if you are stinky, if you are a stinky person, and you know, don't shove it off and like, oh, other people can't smell, or it doesn't really matter, or it's just social norms. It's not. None of that garbage. If you stink, right, or if you think you do, here's what you do. I'm gonna tell you. If you just ask one of your buddies, hey man, do I stink? They're gonna be like, yeah, whatever, right? And it's just they're gonna laugh, and like that'll be the end of it, because they don't want to tell you, because it's super awkward. So you should take someone that you're close with. And you should actually pull them aside and be like, hey man, this is before the pre-release. This is like, do this tomorrow. Pull them aside, right? And be like, hey man, I'm curious to know. And tell them about the video. Tell them I just watched this FubsyDaily where he talks about people who are kind of stinky. And I'd like to know if maybe I don't smell if I smell not very good. So that I can try and fix it. If I do. If you say it like that and it's private and there's no one else around, they'll tell you. If they're a good friend, they'll tell you. They'll be like, you know what, man, maybe you could use a shower sometimes more often, right? And your hygiene, right? And then do it, goddammit. Because like the worst feeling in the whole world, and I had this happen in an F&M, is this kid was talking to me, and they won't know who they are because I talked to like 100 kids that night, because they're awesome. They're all awesome people, right? But and he's leaning over talking to me, and I'm sitting. I just finished a match, and he was standing, leaning over, and we're talking about my deck and my sideboarding. He was just asking some questions. How come we did this? Just to learn. And he smelled like poop. He smelled like shit. He did, like literally. And it was the worst. It was the worst. Like I just don't want to even be around that person, right? And you don't want to be that guy. And you're gonna go to your pre-release. The people that haven't watched this are gonna go, and they're gonna be stinky, and you're gonna know. You're just gonna know. And it's just awful. It's just awful. So just don't do it, man. Like, just take care of yourself. Even if you don't care about cleanliness. Even if you say, well, I don't care if other people are stinky, right? Well, it doesn't matter because everybody cares if you are. So just shower, for goodness sakes. Just do it. And just don't. Okay. Kind of done with that. But it's really important. Not only because of magic, but because of your health. This kid that didn't take care of himself, he was big like me. And big guys, this is kind of gross, but our stomachs are bigger. Like, we have a waist and our stomach kind of going over. And, like, right where your belt goes is kind of tucked in a little bit in the skin, which is nasty, right? But he had, like, mold in there a little bit. It was, like, the grossest thing I'd ever... Anyway, just take care of yourself, guys. Clean yourself really well before you go to this pre-release. Now, if you're a big guy like me, this is going to get kind of weird, but, one of my things that I try and live my life by, I understand I'm very overweight. I would like to work on it, but then here I am sucking down a soda, right? It's something that I'm like, yeah, sure, I would love to be thinner, but I don't actively pursue it. I just don't, right? I know I should. I understand that I should. Anyway, I try and always put out a good image for big guys everywhere, because I hate it when big guys are just oblivious to the fact that they're big, or they don't want to talk about it, or they're like embarrassed in this weird way, right? I'm embarrassed sometimes, but not in like this. So I'll tell you some of the things that I do. And if you're a big guy, do this, okay? Do this all the time, but especially for your pre-release, because it just helps. First of all, shower right before you go, because you're going to sweat, you're going to stink. Bring extra deodorant or something. Go out into the bathroom and kind of deodorize yourself halfway through, because you're going to sweat, you're going to stink. It's going to be gross. Also, what I do is I wear an undershirt always. Here's my undershirt, right? And I always tuck it in. I tuck in my undershirt, and then I wear my normal shirt over it, and that's untucked and whatever. And fashion-wise, I don't know if that's okay or not, but I always do it. Because when I sit down, I don't want people to see my butt crack. And your pants are invariably going to go down a little bit because you're a big guy. And they should see your tucked-in shirt. That's all they should see. And same with the front, because a lot of big guys will wear like a shirt like mine that kind of dangles, and then their gut is just hanging right below it. Have you seen that guy? It's like a shirt and then gut, like this. And you're like, oh, that's so gross. Tuck in your shirt. It'll hold it a little bit, but it will just not be there. Just do that. Just take care of yourself. And don't wear big holes in your butt. Anyway, I'm going off on this tangent way too long. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I'm doing this. So before I recorded this video, I posted on Facebook. And I was like, hey guys, I'm going to record this video about pre-release. What should I talk about? And like 3 or maybe 4 people of like the 5 or 6 that responded put showering as one of the answers. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry if this offends you. I really am. But like, it has to change. You have to not do that at this pre-release. You're going to make the experience really bad for a lot of people if you do. And you should think about the effects that has on people. I know it sounds so silly saying that just someone stinky can affect something, but it can. If I go to a store for the first time, there are a lot of people who are coming back to Magic because of Return to Ravnica. If they come back to Magic, show up at the pre-release, and some dude smells like garbage there, they're going to be a lot less likely to go back. They're not going to want to go back. You're going to ruin the experience for them. So just clean yourself. Yeah. Okay, done with that. Let's move on to better things, to more fun things. So the next thing you want to do when you're preparing for the pre-release that's more fun is you want to have looked at the spoiler. Now, there's the full spoiler that I always use is the one on MTG Salvation, but you can go anywhere you want to go. So you want to look at the full spoiler. I recommend reading every card, right? Read them all. At least just so you have an idea, right? You have an idea of what's there. Now, I'm not telling you you're going to know off the top, like immediately, every good thing that exists and every bad thing that's there. Like, I mean, you're just not going to recognize every single thing all the time. But what you do want to do is you want to be able to have a good idea of, like, what you... Let me see if I can read what CJ wrote. My buddy CJ commented on this, and he said... Okay, here's what he said. Read the spoiler beforehand and try to look for card interactions, how fast the format appears, what tricks your opponent might be telegraphing, flash creatures or pump spells. Okay, so like if I go to the spoiler and I search flash, here's one, Skyline Predator, 4 blue, 3/4 flying flash. So if your opponent has a couple of cards in his hand, he's got blue mana, he has 6 lands and he passes, you should be thinking about this card. Now, I'm not saying you should always be like, oh, this is it, he's got it every time, I can never do anything. It's not quite like that, but you should just be aware the card exists and be thinking about it. And be like, maybe he hasn't done anything for 2 turns, he wouldn't have kept such a bad hand, he's probably got this card, I'm not going to attack with my 3/3 or my 2/2, right? Maybe I'm just not going to do that this turn. So, like, there's a really good example. Let's see. Let's see. Where's another one? Instant. We're going to look for an instant. Okay. Oh, I know a perfect example. Okay. Another thing you want to watch out for are combat tricks. So another card is Giant Growth, which is coming back in Return to Ravnica. It just costs a green, instant, target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. You need to know this card exists, right? You need to know that this is a card. If your opponent has green mana, let's say they have a green mana open and they attack with a 1/1 and you have a 3/3, you should watch out for that card. Should you block, should you not block? Depends on the game, depends on your opponent, depends on what's happening on the board. But you should be aware. You should be thinking, okay, what could he have? He has a green open, only 1 green. Giant Growth is a card he could have, right? Then there are others. If he has 4 green mana open, maybe there's something else, right? But look through the spoiler, look for cards like that, look for interactions like that, and try to play around them if you can. Try to be aware of them if you can. So that's really good, is looking at the spoiler. Along with that, is you also don't want to get too, I don't know, some people don't understand, like an M13 draft, Centaur Courser, which is 3 for a 3/3, great card. It's a fine card. People tend to not like just blank cards like that. Anyway, that's getting more into sealed and limited, and I'm not very good at that. Okay, so that's about all I can think of for the pre-release in that way. Now, when you're building your pre-release deck, the first thing you want to do, probably you're going to play the color you chose, right? Because your pack's going to be really good. It's going to be all colors from that color. But you should look at your other cards just to make sure. Maybe you could splash like a third color. Maybe you open 3 bombs in like one other color. You go with that one. Anyway, just be wise to the deck. Lay out all your cards. Maybe do it in like a circle, kind of. You can lay out your cards in a way that's like the Magic Circle. Where, let me see if I can show you. There's an example, right? So there's a magic card. So you can lay your cards out kind of like this in a circle. I read this on Reddit, and I thought it was really interesting. And except you switch black and red, switch them the other way, and then all of your and then that's the guilds, right? So then you have white, blue, blue, red, because red's gonna be over here. Red, black, black, green, green, white, right? So they're all the guilds are there. If you lay out your cards like that, kind of like in that kind of a circle, then you'll be able to see where the strong interactions, where the strong cards are. So do something like that, but really just have a lot of fun with it. Just have a lot of fun. Play your best, but don't. It's not a PTQ. It's not a Pro Tour. It's not a Grand Prix. It's just a pre-release. Have a good time with it. I can't think of anything else I want to talk about. I think that's about it. I think that's the biggest thing right there. I mean, those are the biggest things. Have fun. Don't be stinky. Know the cards. And understand the format a little bit. If you're going to do Two-Headed Giant, probably you should look up the rules for Two-Headed Giant. Because there are some different rules. Like how your life is affected, how mulligan decisions, that kind of stuff. Okay, I'll tell you one example. The one thing I did, the most fun I ever had in like a Two-Headed Giant tournament was actually one where I went. It was an Abyssin Restored pre-release, right? And I went to the midnight, then I went to bed, and then I woke up, and I went to do the 10 o'clock Two-Headed Giant with a buddy who was going to go with me, but he slept in. And he just didn't end up going. He didn't answer his phone. He texted me like 2 hours later and was like, "Dude, I'm sorry, I was asleep." So I showed up anyway, and I was like, oh my buddy's gonna be here. This thing starts in like 2 minutes. I guess I'm just gonna go. And I was actually out in my car, and I was trying to find out what time the next pre-release was at a different store. And all of a sudden, I get a call from the store owner inside, and he's like, "Julian, are you still in the parking lot? I think your car's out there." And I was like, yeah, I'm just texting and looking on, the websites trying to find out when the next pre-release is. Maybe I'll get some lunch or something. And he's like, "There's this guy here, and his partner didn't show up either. Do you want to just Two-Headed Giant with him?" And I was like, hell yeah, I do. So I went in there, didn't know the kid, had never met him in my life. And we built our Two-Headed Giant decks and took first place. And it was just sweet. It was so cool meeting someone I had no idea who he was. No idea, never seen him before. And he didn't know me either. And we just sat down, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Julian." He's like, "Hey, I'm Eric." And we just built decks, and we went for it, and we just played, and just won. And it was such a cool feeling, such a cool experience. So now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't play with friends. Of course you should play with friends in Two-Headed Giant. But if you don't have anybody specific, just show up, and just see if you can find someone who wants to play with you, and just meet someone new. It was awesome. It was really fun doing that. And you should do the same thing if that opportunity presents itself. Okay, I think I'm done. That's about it for me for tonight. I might record another one either tonight or tomorrow. I've got a couple plans. Sorry about I know I promised another Pro Tour champion interview for Thursday. He got sick. It was Alexander Hayne, which is going to be so cool. But he got sick, and so made it postpone. And then he's busy this weekend, and then I'm busy. And anyway, so we're going to try and get together soon. I'm also going to try and have a level 2 judge on who's level 3 very soon. And I'm just going to keep doing content, do more playtesting videos. I might try and do one tomorrow from my laptop and see how that goes. I don't really know how that will go. But definitely on Tuesday I'll have more. And I love you guys very much. Thank you for watching. And I hope you learned a lot. And I will let you go and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.